Yo, welcome back. And if you're new here, I'm Kim. We are going to be doing a May reading wrap up. It's going to be fairly short just because we only have 3 books we're going to be talking about. If you've seen my May TBR, we covered 4 books, or we chose 4 books that we may potentially be reading. One I did swap out. I did swap out one of those books, and you're going to see why. Towards the end, I'll talk about that book. And one of them I did not finish yet. And as you can guess, it's Oathbound. I don't know why it's taking me so long to read that book. I have no clue. It's a book in the Legendborn series by Tracy Dion. I've brought it up multiple times in different videos. I was like, I'm gonna get to it. I am pretty far into it, actually. I am in Act 3, almost page 400. I have some thoughts. I have some words. But yeah, no, it's taken me like a whole month. In the time I was trying to read Oathbound, I finished 3 books in between, you know what I mean? I kept going back in and out. I wanted it to finish today of filming, reading the book, but I, of course, forgot it at work. And I'm not gonna pay toll and cross the bridge just to pick up that book. And then, I don't know, definitely on my day off, so forget it. It's going to be pushed to another video when I talk about it and whenever I finish it, probably in June, but my June TBR is kind of crazy. We'll see. Of course I'm going to finish it. I don't want to stop. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It was a fun overall reading month. I told myself not to feel bad if I don't read as much per month that I personally had like a mini goal for. I didn't want like making YouTube videos be the reason why my reading pace will either be sped up or, like the pressure of reading. Reading's supposed to be fun, and I wanted to make sure I keep that. This is just like a fun little hobby I want to share. So I was just kind of reminding myself today, like, don't beat yourself up, Kim. Like, you don't have to wait to make the video just because you didn't finish Oathbound. Like, you've read some books and you had a great time. So that's what this video is going to be about. We're going to talk about the books that I did enjoy reading, or not enjoy, I don't know, you'll see. Okay, so first on the list that we picked, and I'm so happy we chose this book, y'all. It is Greenteeth by Molly O'Neill, I believe. Yes, Molly O'Neill. Y'all, I'm surprised. I have not watched any reviews on this. I just know people are mentioning that this is a book that was coming out this year. Yeah, that it was a book coming out this year. And it just went straight to paperback, so I think it's pretty small. It's not that big of a book, and I will tell y'all right now, I rated this 4 stars. I know that people have like different opinions, but I rated this 4 stars. You know what this book really reminds me of? The Hobbit. Before I go into like a summary about, or like just a brief description about this book, I will say, if you are a fan of adventure, if you are a fan of Lord of the Rings, I'm not saying it's like heavily inspired or anything, but it was definitely giving me like adventure, The Hobbit specifically kind of vibes. I highly, highly, highly recommend if you like monsters, if you like fairy tales, stuff like that are kind of intermixed within the mortal realm. I highly recommend. But most importantly, besides the adventure, it focuses very heavily on friendship. I guess this is what some people might call the found family trope. I'm not familiar with trope names. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm still very much new into these kind of things. But to me, it's just like a really tight family or a really tight friendships. And they do have their own families too that they care about. But yeah, if you are into those type of vibes, before I even say more about it, definitely go pick it up and read the book before I like say anything. If you want to know more, we do follow, this is our main character, so it's kind of cool that she's on the front cover so you get a general gist of what she looks like. I appreciate that. As imaginative as I am, I would say, when it comes to reading and seeing what the monsters look like in my head, I like that our Green Lake monster is on the front cover, but she's someone who we're following. I don't know if this is spoiling anything, but there is like a Pokemon by her name. Once you read it, I don't want to give it away. I really don't. I really think you should be in a magical moment. But let's just say Nurse Joy, okay? There's something that reminds me of Nurse Joy and her whole, I don't know if species is the right species or family of Jenny Greenteeth. Exactly, just kind of like Nurse Joy in Pokemon. But anyway, you can make the connection. It's a very small connection. But her character is just so freaking charming. This whole book is so freaking wholesome. I do have my notes about it, and I even like annotated it quite a bit, and it was pretty fun. But I do have my notes of things I kind of wish it did. Overall, I just had a great, fun, adventurous time. There was a villain. I guess if I were to go into the notes, that would be my main negative. It would really only be my main negative. I was writing a review in my personal notes about this, but we have a villain, and that's why we're setting off on this adventure, right? To defeat this villain. Unfortunately, at least for me reading it, it didn't really feel like a real villain. Like, we're being told what this person has done, or monster. I don't want to say demon because they use the term demon for something else, but we get descriptions of what they've done. We get like how other monsters or fey creatures feel about said villain and how they're dangerous, and they're curious why they're here and whatnot. It's also a little mystery of why they're here, so tiny bit of doing that in here. Unfortunately, it didn't really like hit for me. I don't know. It was so quick. I mean, it's not that big of a book, but still, I feel like we're working hard on this quest. We're going on this adventure. And then when you like, I'm not going to say if they do or they may or may not defeat the villain at the end. That's up to you to know. But if they do decide to defeat the villain, it's not decide, but if they like succeed in defeating the villain, it's not as rewarding in my personal opinion, because in my head, they were never a threat to begin with. I mean, they're a threat. They clearly are doing like horrible things, but I don't know. It's just, it didn't hit as hard. I didn't feel terrified as a reader. I'm just like, oh, okay, that sounds like a pretty bad person. Besides that, I had so much fun. I love that they covered so many mythical creatures and folklore, right? Mainly these folklore are from the UK, I would say, because when I was annotating, so I decided to annotate a little bit differently when it came to this book. I decided to add post-it notes, and each post-it note pretty much covers the type of mythical creature or folklore that they came from. So it would put like, okay, one of the ones, they cover a lot of monsters, okay? So, or like a lot of things, so don't worry. But they cover the Will-o'-the-Wisp. And if you watched Brave, the Disney movie, you know what this is. Or if you grew up learning this folklore, you know what this is, right? But for me, I first heard this in Brave, the movie. And I put like the location it's from, like the description, all sorts of things on my little post note, because I keep reading stories that have the same occurring folklore in that region. And I feel like at this point, I just need to take notes and make tabs of to me, this is fun, but like, I don't want to spoil it. I want to talk about all the other things, because to me, it was very exciting to know like, who's going to pop up next, right? Overall, 4 stars. I don't know. Whenever I do like a review, I feel like it's just like a mixture of my emotions and nothing about the themes, or not nothing, but not too much about the plot or whatever. But I really, really, really just want you to know that this is worth a try, okay? If there was another negative, the only one thing I've noticed too is the pacing. The pacing is slow because it takes over a course of like days to months or to get to one point to another. To me, it was entertaining the whole time, because it's not just like the action that's happening, but we have the personal relationships of this 3 random group. Well, 2 of them know each other, but they were never stuck together. Different, all sorts of like walks of life for this one particular mission that they want to do. And just to see their relationship grow and the arguments they have between each other, like the banter between each other, is to me, that's very interesting. And also to know how much like they care. I don't know. I feel like I've mentioned this multiple times whenever I run across it in books, but I am a sucker for a good apology. Or not even good, like not in full depth, but apologizing when one should apologize. I'm a sucker for self-reflecting when you're doing something stupid. I'm just a sucker for that. And that happens in this book, you know? It does. And I love that. I'm just like, yes, because I'm so sick of real life where people are just being a butt about it with their own emotions. But yeah, that's Greenteeth. Totally worth it. This is one of those books that I'm kind of hunting or trying to keep my like ears and eyes propped open for a special edition. I would buy a special edition. If you don't know, I'm like a collector of some sorts. Because I got into books, I enjoy not just like buying the book, but a special edition of it. I'm one of those, yes. Shamelessly gonna say, I would immediately, like, because this didn't have a hardback, yeah. The moment, I hope this book pops off, because if it does, then we'll get special editions. So talk about it, y'all. Read about it. Sorry if I'm like overhyping it. I just think I've seen special editions for books. I'm like, oh my god. And then this one's like worth it. So that's Greenteeth. Moving on, we're going to be covering Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. I don't know if I'm pronouncing their last name correctly, but I probably repeat this a lot, but I don't read the back of the book. Once I get to the book, I don't refresh my memory of what the book was about by reading the back of the book. Oh, and I don't listen to reviews about this one either. I just know like, oh, it's one of those classics of must read. I was so confused. I'm sorry. I finished it, don't get me wrong, but I was so confused in the beginning of the book, like the first 2 chapters. I didn't know what we were talking about, to the point where maybe it's just my inability to read or understand. I had to read the back of the book. I had to go to the back. I'm like, what the heck am I reading? Not that it was very odd, but there was just so many things going on and I wasn't following. I was just like, you're losing me. You're losing me. What are we talking about? So I read the back of the book and it all made sense. I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're leading up to. Okay. We're following a man in this one and he is a fireman. This is post-apocalyptic, not too far though because our main character still remembers. Oh, no. I'm mistaking it for the next book we're talking about. Whoopsies. Okay, not that. It's been some time because the kids are even questioning about their job profession and why do we do this, but it's essentially book banning. Not even just book banning, we're just burning the books. Major plot. But I guess it says it in the back too. So he's a fireman, and the firemen, instead of taking out fires, they actually are used to burn and hunt down people who owned books and burn the books. This is a world where books are no longer not desired. No, I shouldn't say desired, but legal. Let's just say that, right? Because there's people who still love books in the world. That doesn't change. What does change is that the law, the people in power, for whatever reason, they do explain it. There's a whole monologue, honestly, about the reason why they choose what they chose. A whole ass monologue. And I love me a good monologue. But yeah, very interesting. It's a book about books. I should have started that. I'm sorry. I should have started talking about this, saying it's a book about books. And I had a good time following along. The one thing that really got to me in the beginning, and that's why I was confused a little bit, is the writing style. I know I didn't say this earlier, but my overall rating of this was like 3 stars. It's just a me thing. Don't worry, that's not really the book, but I love me like descriptive writing. I love me some creative writing. I didn't finish annotating this one, but I wanted to show an example. I want to say an example, but the style of writing is not really for me in particular. Like, you lose me when you describe things for a little bit too long. There's a passage here that he describes. Sorry, I already forgot his name. I think his name is Guy, like from Naruto. But I think our main character's name is Guy, but some people call him by his first name and some people call him by his last name. So I lost who our main character's for what his name is. And I think the next book I'm going to talk about does that too. And it's just kind of like, I mean, I get it. You know, not everyone calls me Kim, but I get confused, okay? I just get a little confused when I forget my main character's first and last name. But yeah, to go back, it was a little too descriptive where I felt like I didn't, maybe I'm just not like that deep into literature like that, but it didn't really add much to it. I think he was talking about like a woman's face and the features of her face in the beginning. It was in very early chapters actually. And he just kept going and going. And to the point at the end of like what, sentence 1 or 2 or whatever, after he was done talking about the face, I realized like, oh wait, we were still reading about the face. We're still talking about like the structure of her face. What? I thought we've moved on. I thought we were talking about something else. I'm not sure if it's my attention span. I don't think that is, even though it does go in and out. But yeah, he does that a lot in this book. And a lot of like, this to me is part of like the more creative side. Loves to repeat words. Loves it. Hi, post-editing Kim here. I found the passage I wanted to read to talk about the way they repeat words in the book. I mean, this is just one very over-exaggerated example. There's better examples, but it's just a fun creative choice. It's just been a while since I've read such creativity. Out of context. Speed up the film, Montag. Quick, click, pick, look, I, now, flick, here, there, swift, space, up, down, in, out, why, how, who, what, where, bang, smack, wallop, bing, boom, bomb, digest, politics. And then it keeps going. It's a very long paragraph. But yeah, that's just one example. It's fun. Don't get me wrong. It's just funny. I've read this type of literature in high school. So it gave me more very heavy literature, like English class vibes in terms of the writing style. Not a negative thing. I was never into English like that. I was never into reading novels, let alone until my adult years, aka 2025 this year. Really until this year. So it just gave me back, oh God, I feel like I'm reading like an English book. But the premise, the whole like, why are we burning these books, kept me interested the whole time. And it actually picks up in the middle. Not even, well, maybe even earlier than the middle, I would say, because I felt like after maybe a few, actually, I don't even know if it was in chapters. I'm sorry. I think this is in parts, right? Yeah, this is not in chapters, so you're just continuously reading. It's in parts, I believe, maybe 3 parts. But yes, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I really like, after I read it, I kind of pushed it in the back of my head. I enjoyed it, okay? I enjoy a book about books. I enjoy a messed up world, and we get to travel into it, and it's not even not that far, but because of things going on right now, the themes is very relevant. I think the next book too. I keep thinking about the next book because that one was burned in my brain, but very relevant. I enjoyed. There's a character who's just hella fun in this book. So sad what happens to her, but she's just fun. At first I was annoyed, and then after I don't know, after a while, I was like, actually, I was just looking forward to hearing her talk. At first, I was kind of like, who is this girl? And then after a while, I was like, actually, I look forward to more passages with her. So yeah, that's my overall feeling or review type. I don't even know if it's a proper review, but for Fahrenheit, it's a good book. It's a good book to read. It might not be for everyone. It wasn't for me. I know this is actually a lot of people's favorite. I don't really read reviews too much right after I finish a book. But I do enjoy sometimes because people give insight that I never even thought of. So listening or reading reviews about a book that you just read is very helpful. But some is just like, okay, that's enough. But yeah, this is a lot of people's favorite, and I see why. Just for my personal taste, it's not the type that I go for. But will I continue reading books like this? Yeah, of course. It was fun. It just brought me back to like high school days. That's all. And the last book on our list. Ooh, okay. I got this book on sale with my friend, and we both were reading it. And this is so crazy. I've only seen the cover of this book. I have not seen or heard reviews. I just remember when it came out and everyone was talking about it. But I was like, maybe it's one of those ones that I wouldn't be too interested in. Totally changed my mind. 1000%. That book is Tender is the Flesh by Agustina Bazterrica. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your last name wrong, but y'all, I will put it up on the corner. I don't know what corner. Maybe like this corner. I will put it up over there. The other alternative cover art for this book, if it was in English, I would have bought it so fast. But yeah, I'll put it over there. It's crazy. It kind of gives it away though. This is one that I will be pretty short talking about, only because this is a book you absolutely have to go in knowing close to nothing besides the trigger warnings. Major trigger warning. Even if the trigger warnings do give it away, you absolutely must read it for this one. I feel like every month there's one book I'm going to be reading that I have to give y'all such a huge disclaimer of like, please read the trigger warnings. Don't let me lead you astray or lead you down a really bad hole if you're not ready for it. This is one of them, 1,000%. I had no clue that it was going to be talking about stuff like this. I did read the back, actually. Don't get me wrong. I read the synopsis, and I'm actually pretty glad that the synopsis doesn't tell it. They gave you some key words what's about to happen, but luckily they don't tell you the whole thing. Not the whole thing, but the surprise drops, the most moments that you're like, oh my god, and what are we reading kind of moments. This is dystopian. This sets place not that long after. There's a whole movement that is called the transition. Hopefully it doesn't cover too much, and that is within a person's lifetime. Okay, so the person we're following, they remember the old days before the transition. That's how recent this is. This isn't like Fahrenheit 451 where it was generations later, right? I don't know how many, maybe just one generation. I don't know, but kids are even questioning, did firemen always do this? You know? Like kids are questioning that. But dystopian, you get the point. It's dystopian. With this one, if you are, I can only recommend, this is not for the faint of heart, first of all. Not for the faint of heart. Second, if you are into horror, okay, you absolutely must. I don't know if I should say gory. There is like body horror. Definitely. Definitely in this one. It could be gory. I don't know. Maybe in my head when I think gory, I think of Saw or like Final Destination. It didn't really sound like that type of stuff was going on. Or maybe it's just my sense of gory is very like extreme to be considered gory. But definitely like horror, bloody, stuff like that, right? So if you can't handle those things or feeling very, very disturbed, this isn't for you. If you can't handle that, this isn't for you. I'm sorry. I can't just recommend that. But if you know as yourself as a reader, you're totally fine reading very sensitive topics and very heavy stuff. And God, these characters, my gosh. Rooting for nobody, but yeah, you're going to enjoy. This is a page turner. You're going to finish it in a day. Or it actually took me 2 days because I was actually really busy when I read it in the beginning. You're going to want to finish it. You pick it up and you can't stop turning the page type book, okay? And I will say, considering like it has its negative notes, don't get me wrong. It's not all about like, oh, I love this book. Don't get me wrong. I love batshit crazy books. I love themes or like dystopian worlds where we take it to the extreme. Because why the hell not, okay? Like this is fiction with political stuff, which is what I love as well. This is made up world, even though it kind of feels very similar to our world. I think that's why a lot of people actually rate it pretty low because it's too close to home. But, you know, I love things to the extreme. So they just take it. This book takes it. It does not hide it. They go there. You think they're like, oh, they're not going to go. They're not going to. They do go there. So, but yeah. Cool. Very cool book. I think it's worth the read. Definitely if you're into horror, you have to read it. You don't have to wait for Halloween or whatever. Just read it now. I got it on sale for like $8. So because it was so cheap, I was like, yeah. And it's so small too. So it's not intimidating. I also recommend this if you are into this type of storytelling. It is a great book to get yourself out of a book slump. I haven't been in a book slump yet before, ever since my like reading journey in January I started, but I feel like if I were to ever be in a slump, I would just reread this book. I love feeling a little messed up. Just kidding. I don't know if I said it. I think it was 3 stars. Did I say that already? If not, I'll put it up somewhere. 3 stars. Yeah, it was heavy, 3 stars. Tender is the flesh. Fahrenheit 451. And my 1 star for the month, Greenteeth. I don't know how I'm gonna, so far with Oathbound, I really don't know. It's not feeling like a 5 star, although a lot of people, I've seen reactions to people reading Oathbound, and it sounds like it's gonna get like crazy towards the end, or like it will, I don't know. So far for me reading it up to Act 3, page like 380, it's feeling like a 3 star. But I'm not gonna rate it, of course, fully until I finish the book. But yeah, it was a fun, besides like being busy this month, it was a really fun reading. I enjoyed the books that I picked. These are books I'm going to keep. That was my reading wrap up for May. I hope you enjoyed. I really want to go out a little bit more and take you outside of my room and just go somewhere else to do like reading vlogs and whatnot, but it's really just having the time and filming. I do have like a mini book haul I wanted to do and show y'all, but still, I don't know. But yeah, if you enjoy these videos, feel free to like and subscribe. And let me know if you had fun reading, or let me know if you've read any of the books I've read, and if you agree or not agree. I mean, I guess not even agree or not agree. It's just more like, what was your opinion on the book, right? Did you enjoy Greenteeth as much as I did? Did you enjoy the classic Fahrenheit 451 as much as like I was like, okay, it was good. It was good. It wasn't a bad book. It was good. Just not my favorite. And if you're into this type of storytelling and this type of topics and whatnot, or reading something that makes you really question like what the hell is going on type of books, let me know. Maybe we have similar taste. It'd be nice. If not, I don't mind if we don't have similar taste. Okay. Goodbye. See you in the next one.